See exciting new Apple TV Plus series like Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Let's take a quick peek.
I'm excited. Take a drink first. I gotta get my early morning coffee. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Brandon. We are in the building, and I actually wanted to come on and make another video because I'm super excited about a recent investment that I made, and I think it was time to upgrade. It was time to upgrade. All right, so y'all ready? So I know there's 1,000 videos out there about this right now, but as a photographer, as a content creator, and all the stuff that I do, I'm going to tell you why I pulled the trigger and I made this upgrade. All right, y'all ready? Let's get into it. All right, my people. So as you guys know, on October 30th, Apple launched their new scary event that introduced the new M3 series computers, laptops, whatever you want to call them. The M3 is here. All right, and I'm super stoked about it, man. So I do, as you can see behind me, I have always used the M1 Pro, Apple Pro. I did not get the Max, but I've been using the M1 Pro for quite some time. I'll put the specifications of the M1 Pro that I've been using up there. The M1 Pro is good compared to what I was using. I was using my Windows computer for a lot of different things, okay? The reason why I went to Apple, because I'm a Windows guy through and through, all right? Don't get it twisted. But the reason why I went to Apple in the first place, because I shoot, of course, with my Sony a7S III. I got at the time, I had my a7R4. I was doing a lot of different things, and I was really starting to get into H.265, which is a high efficiency video codec. So going to H.265 and, you know, having smaller files, but being able to render and manipulate that type of video format was a really big struggle with my Windows computer. When I got that M1 Pro, oh, it cut through that video like butter, nice, smooth, like everything was great. It was awesome. At the time, I think that computer, I can't remember the specs, but I don't know if it had 8 or 16 gigs of memory. I think it had 16. But as I got more into video editing, as I got more into being on location, recording in S-Log3, H.265, H.264, and uploading and, you know, comprising all these videos and manipulating it together, at times the M1 Pro would be a little bit sluggish. It wouldn't render as fast as a lot of other computers out there, but it was dealing with the video codecs perfectly. It was dealing with them fine. But then I wanted to get into, you know, using my A1 or my A7R5 now. I wanted to play around with a little 8K. I wanted to do a lot of things. And I noticed the M1 Pro is starting to get a little bit sluggish. Now, should I have got the M1 Max when it first came out? No, I get what I can afford. I get what's in my budget. But I know, and I've seen a lot of videos through MKHD, him, and a lot of other people who have the M1 Max and was like, hey, you know, the M3 looks great, but some people don't even feel like it's important to upgrade. But for a lot of us who have the M1 or the M1 Pro, the M3 looks absolutely astonishing. It is. So, first of all, I wanted to invest in the M3. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you which one I got, but not yet. I wanted to invest in the M3 because, first of all, it was time to upgrade, and I just love what it is, and it is scary, scary fast.
We're launching the next generation of Apple Silicon for the Mac by debuting 3 breakthrough chips at the same time. Introducing M3, M3 Pro, and M3 Max.
So let's jump over into Apple and let's take a look at a few of the computers. Let's take a look at the M3, the 14-inch and 16-inch. Now, of course, with the M3s, you know, they did not bring over like the 13s and 13.3s and all that. So with the M3s, we have the 14 and the 16-inch laptop. So first of all, let's take a look at the 14s. I'm going to give you my opinion on them. I'm going to give you my advice for all of you who are thinking about upgrading. Maybe you have not pulled the trigger yet, or maybe you have, was like, man, maybe I should have did an upgrade. we gonna talk about that right now. All right. So the first thing we're gonna look at is the 14-inch laptops. Now they came out with the M3, the M3 Pro, and the M3 Max for the 14-inch version. Now they are all customizable. All right. So if you felt like you want to get like the M3, the lowest version at $15.99, you can also do some add-ons where you can upgrade the memory a little bit. You can upgrade the power supply. You can upgrade the storage. But again, you're going to start adding on and tacking on money, and you're not getting it at the price that it looks a little bit more sufficient or in your price range. Okay. So the more things that you add on, you got to look at that. Me personally, if I'm going to invest, I don't think that's enough. And I don't want to do the add-ons. That's just me. I don't think it's worth it. They got two versions. They got one with 512 and one with 1 terabyte. Both of them have 8-core CPU. Both of them have 10-core GPU. And again, 8 gigs of unified memory. The price difference in both of those, basically what you're paying for is another 512 of storage. You have one that's $15.99. You have one that's $17.99. Now, if we look at the M3 Pro in the 14-inch, okay, they have two versions of the M3 Pro in the 14-inch. You got one that is an 11-core CPU and a 14-core GPU, and then one is a 12-core CPU and an 18-core GPU. Now, both of those do have 18 gigs of memory. One has a 512, one has a 1 terabyte storage. So the M3 Pro, again, in the price difference, one is $2,000, one is basically $2,400. So it's about a $400 increase. If I'm looking at the M3 Pro, because I'm not even looking at the M3. Now, some of you might out there be looking at the regular M3 because that's more in your price range. You probably don't want to pay another $500 or $600 to upgrade to the M3 Pro. If I'm getting one, honestly, I'm finding that extra $500 and I'm upgrading, because I really just don't think the 14-inch M3 is honestly worth it. If you can pay an extra few more dollars and you're going to invest anyway, I honestly feel you should just go ahead and go up to the M3 Pro. Now, 11-core CPU, 14-core GPU is really good, but for $400 more now, you're talking about 12-core CPU, 18-core GPU with a 1 terabyte of storage. The base model M3 14-inch is $15.99. To jump up to the M3 Pro 14-inch, you're talking about $24. So you're talking about now an $800 difference between the best M3 Pro and the base M3. If you go from the base M3 up to the base M3 Pro, that is about $1,599 to $2,400. That's about a $400 increase. But again, 11-core CPU, 14-core GPU, 18 gigs of unified memory, compared to the base M3 Pro that has 810 and about 8 gigs. So I'm already up to the M3 Pro. If I'm making this decision and if I'm investing, and I'm looking at the M3 because I can only afford $15.99, I'm already looking at the M3 Pro. I would rather pay another $400 and upgrade to the M3 Pro if that's my case. So that's my case to a lot of you guys out there. If you're looking at the M3, I would just go ahead and get the M3 Pro, the base for 11 core CPU, 14 core GPU, and the 18 gigs of memory versus 8. So I'm finding a way to find that other $400. Now, I can't really tell you to go from $15.99 to $23.99 because that's a little bit more, and that might be out of a lot of people's a budget. So I'm at if you're right there at the M3 Pro, I'm getting the M3 Pro. All right, so that's my take on that. Now, the M3 Max 14-inch, they have one version. You can get the 14-inch version, 14-core CPU, 30-core GPU with 36 gigs of memory, unified memory, and 1 terabyte for $3,100. Now, I don't know how y'all bank account is set up, and I can't tell you to do that. But if you're trying to get the M3 Pro at 2,300, that might be right there in you guys' price range, which is $2,400. So 2,400 compared to the M3 Max that is 3,200. You're looking at about a 600. Let me see, 24. I can't even do math. 24 to 3 is 6. You're looking at about a 700, around about it with tax, about an $800 increase. $800 again. Now that puts you back at the base model of the M3 up to the best M3 Pro, which was an $800 increase. So if you're going to go from there to there, then you can justify going from there to there. But $3,100 for a laptop is a base laptop is pretty pricey for a lot of people, especially if you already have something that is working for you, but you just need a little bit of bump in performance. It is what it is. So I'm still stuck right there because I feel that 11 core CPU and a 14 core GPU with the 18 gigs of unified memory and 512 gigs of storage will be I think that's what a lot of people are going to go for. And just unless you're just like me and you just want the best of the best, and you just want to make that investment. So those are your 14-inch M3s. And again, with all of those, you can upgrade, you can add on if you have a few dollars to spend. Remember, if you're going to make that decision, you need to make it now because you cannot upgrade them later on. Once they're soldered in, basically that's it. They're not like my Windows gaming stuff where I can take out the SSD in the memory and upgrade anytime I want to. All right, that's not how Apple works. That's how they make that money. Let's move on to the 16-inch. Now, I will tell you, first of all, with the 16 inches, I absolutely love a bigger screen. I hate small screen laptops. My laptop right here is a 17.3. I love a bigger laptop. I love a bigger screen. I hate looking at small screens. Regardless of whatever the case that you want to make, I hate small screens. Even if you have a 13.3, going from a 13.3 in like the M1 or M2 whatever and going to the 14-inch, it's not really a difference. I don't care about that. I love big screens. So the first investment, you already know, I already got a bigger screen. I wasn't getting a small screen. That's just me. So let's take a look at the 16 inches. Now, with the 16-inch M3s, they came out with two versions. You have two versions to choose from, M3 Pro and M3 Max. We do not have the M3 version in the 16-inch model, which I think is fair because you're getting a bigger screen. You're going to have, better performance. I like the way they did that to try to, keep that money and, not have a base model and try to, make some money. I get it. All right. It's all a strategy. It is what it is. So in the 16-inch version, we have M3 Pro and M3 Max. So let's take a look at the M3 Pro versions of these new M3 laptops. So we come to a 12 gig CPU, 18 gig GPU with 18 gigabytes of unified memory and 512 of storage. Now, how did they do this? Because remember, over in the M3 Pro version, the difference was in storage. Now, with these two versions, the difference is in memory, which is important, extremely important. What's the price difference? You get the M3 Pro version with 18 gigs of memory for $24.99, and then you get the M3 Pro other version with 36 gigs of memory for $28.99. Is 36 gigs of memory worth the upgrade from 18 gigs of memory? Double the memory. Absolutely, yes. Yes, 36 gigs of memory. If you're investing and you're doing what I'm doing, which is basically future-proof for at least 3-4 years, yes, it is definitely worth it, all right? I'm not just looking at this for right now. I'm looking at this as something for future-proof, and I'm going to get into that also. So you're looking at about a $300 increase. Now, if you go back to the best M3 Pro in the 14-inch, do you remember what that price was? It was $23.99 for the best M3 Pro in the 14-inch. The base M3 in the 16-inch is $24.99. So now you have to make that decision. If you are going to get the best M3 Pro in the 14-inch, $100 more, you might as well get the 16-inch at $24.99. All right, that would not make any sense to me why I would get the 14-inch at 12 gigs, 12 CPU, 18 GPU. So they have the same CPU and GPU, but they have the same unified memory. But the difference between those two is that you have a bigger screen, you got more real estate, and the M3 Pro will come with 1 terabyte versus the 16-inch that will come with 512 memory. But again, I think the Thunderbolts and I think everything that you get is around the same. 3 Thunderbolt ports, HDMI port, SD card slide, headphone jack, MagSafe, all of that stuff. The M3 Pro 96 watt power supply. But again, you get a better power supply, which means you get a longer performance with the 16-inch M3 Pro also, because it comes with a 140 watt power supply versus the 96 watts of the M3 Pro, the best version that you can get. So that's something that you also want to be cognizant of. So again, like my M1, I got the Pro. Around $2,300 is around most people price range that they're going to be shooting at. I don't see why I would spend the money on the 14-inch M3 Pro at $23.99 when I can just get the M3 Pro in the 16-inch version, bigger screen, bigger real estate, better power supply. You're going to lose on 512 gigs of memory again because the M3 Pro 14-inch comes with 1 terabyte. But I definitely think it's worth it. I would go with the M3 Pro. Now, so the M3 Pro 16-inch is where I think a lot of people are going to make their purchases. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to be at versus the M3 Max the M3 Pro in the 14-inch. All right. Now, moving right along. The M3 Pro, the other one. Now, again, if we go back to the 16-inch versions, M3 Pros, one has double the memory. That's all about future proof with me. I really believe in future proof. And if I'm going to get one, I'm definitely taking the one with the most memory, because again, nobody knows what the future holds. More cameras, more codecs, more things that we get into. You want a computer that's going to be able to handle that, and you don't really want to, once you make that investment, you want your investment to last you for a few years. And that's the reason why a lot of people who have the M1 Pro Max are not really looking to upgrade, because that thing, the M1 Pro Max, if I put the specs up here, it was a beast. And a lot of people don't see the need to upgrade right now. Hey, to each his own. If you're looking at the M1 Pro, you just have to make a 16-inch version. You have to make that decision for yourself. Should you go ahead and get the 36-inch gigabytes of memory now? Or will the 18 gigabyte be well enough for you? You can do what you want to do and you can keep it moving, and that's going to be enough for you for the next 2 or 3 years or 4 years or whenever you decide to get another computer. I don't know. I can't tell you that. Only thing I know is that more memory is better. All right, let's move right on. So now we come to the big boy, the king of all these M3 computers. We get to the 16-inch M3 Max. All right, the 16-inch M3 Max. This thing is an absolute monster. Do you hear me? An absolute dog. Let's take a look at the M3 Max. We got 2 versions here. We come to the the first version of the M3 Max, 14 core CPU, 30 core GPU, 36 gigs of unified memory with 1 terabyte of storage, 140 watt power supply. You get all of that for $34.99. All right. If you're looking at the 14-inch M3 Max, let's take a look at it. The 14-inch M3 Max will run you $31.99. 14 core CPU, 30 core GPU, 36 gigs of unified memory. All right. If you remember, the other one, the 16-inch Max, also has 36 gigs of unified memory, 1 terabyte of storage, And on here, you pretty much get those same things. But again, remember, you get a much better power supply with that. And again, that might not be too crazy because for 14-inch, you might not need a 140 watt power supply. 96 is the best you need for that. So the bigger the computer, the more power that you're going to need for, of course. So I wouldn't look too much at well, this one has a better power supply. No, you need that power supply because you have a bigger computer. Anyway, so again, for the 16-inch, for a bigger monitor, like what's the difference in the maxes and what are you getting? Basically, you're getting a bigger computer. You're getting a more powerful computer. But they still have the same core, they still have the same GPU, they still have the same memory, and all of that. And you still get the same amount of storage. Now, this is where it gets different. You don't have another version of the M3 Max in the 14-inch, but we do get another version of the M3 Max in the 16-inch. So Brandon, so if we got two M3 Maxes in the 16-inch, what is the difference? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You get two more cores in CPU. So you get a 16 core CPU. You get a 40 core GPU. You get 48 gigabytes of unified memory, and you get 1 terabyte of storage for $39.99, which is going to run you about $500 more than the M3 Max 16-inch. Is it worth the upgrade? Better CPU, better GPU, and you get 48 gigs of memory. My friends, let me tell you, that is the most future-proof you can get. Getting that computer, you probably won't need to upgrade for at least 3 or 4 more years. And that thing should be able to cut through anything you throw at it. You have a bigger screen, bigger real estate. It comes in the space black, which I love because y'all know Blackdish. Y'all know I love black on black. Man, that thing is a monster. And for a 16 core and a 40 core GPU in the graphics with the 48 gigs of memory, man, opening and closing applications, rendering, editing, and just jumping through things, that computer will be able to cut through anything for a very, 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 very long time. As technology continues to advance and we start to come out, all our companies, Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fuji, all of these things, they start coming out with more and more powerful cameras, more and more powerful mirrorless cameras, medium format cameras, all these video codecs, and the things that we get into and use these computers for, extremely editing or heaviest editing and rendering and so many things that a lot of people do in production, things like that. If you're going to invest, I want to make an investment that's going to last me. And that's the reason why. That's how I make any type of purchase. I don't make purchases just to make a purchase and it's not something that I can keep in my bag for years and years to come, and don't really have to worry about a big, type of increase and performance and things like that, just in case something else comes out in the future. So now, this M3 Max, this big dog, the king of the road, the man with the plan, this thing is going to cost you $3,900, $3,999. And again, to offset that, trade-in, you can do a trade-in or sell like your M1 or something like that. You can offset it off for about $1,100, $1,200, depending on what you sell it for. And then you're right down there at a pretty decent price for an amazing loaded computer just like this. Or you might be one of those ones where I'm like, I'm going to keep this one and I'm going to get that one and blah, 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 blah. Which one did I buy? Now, hold on. Before I get into that, you can also upgrade. It's going to cost you a pretty penny, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what happens. Now, if you choose that highest max, the one that has the 16 core CPU, 40 core GPU, if we select that, we can do additional upgrades. All right. The highest one that you can get, you might be one of those people that says, I want the best of the best. I don't have no price tag. I don't have no restrictions on my wallet. All right. You have to add an additional $1,000 for 128 gigabytes of memory. It can be done. All right. If you decide to do these upgrades, you better do it now. All right. So say for instance, we wanted 28 gigabytes of unified memory, and maybe you want 8 terabytes of storage. that's going to also cost you an upgrade of $2,200. So just an upgrade in storage and memory is an automatic $3,200, which is basically a 14-inch M3 Max. If you look at it that way, all right, you literally could get the M3 Max in the 16-inch at $4,000. Why would you add $3,200 worth of upgrade when you can just take that $3,200 and get another computer? If that's the case, get the 14-inch M3 Max. It's $3,200, $3,199. But whatever. And then we're not buying Final Cut Pro, and then we're not buying Logic. And if you decided to do both of those things, that would cost you $7,199 for the absolute best beast that you can buy. I did not do that, just in case you guys are wondering. All right, I did not pay $7,000 for a Mac. However, the one that I did upgrade to was this one, the 16-inch, the best M3 Max out there without any upgrades. All right, the 16-inch M3 Max, 16-inch core CPU, 16 core CPU, 40 core GPU with 48 gigabytes of mutable memory and 1 terabyte hard drive for $4,000. That's production type power right there. I mean, that's power. So that's what I went through. So hopefully I was able to shed a little bit of light on your purchase to give you an idea of what I was looking for when I made this purchase, and what you might be looking for, or maybe answering some of those other questions if you're trying to decide between which M3 that you are trying to get. But make no mistake, the M3 is here and it is lightning fast, man, and I can't wait to get it. I got the Space Black, of course. And on top of that, being able to travel with this thing, all right, go to the Sony events that I go to and be able to download that footage or download those images and quick, fast, in a hurry and get those things back out on social media, man. You know, I absolutely love it, man. And the 48 gigabytes of unified memory, oh my God, come on, let's just talk about that. Being able to jump in and out of those applications and being able for that application to render and everything without any type of problems and have enough memory to do it all, running Lightroom, running, you know, everything else in a Final Cut Pro and everything. Oh my God, man. That is a huge jump from having the M1 Pro, and I'm excited that I made it. I can't wait for it to get here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. If I provided any type of substance or help or assistance to you in this video, please make sure you comment down below, like the video, man. Make sure you subscribe, because I'm not doing just photo shoots here. I am providing exceptional knowledge for my photographers out there and helping you guys along the way in your photography and videography journey. All right, mostly photography, because that's what we do here. All right, so until next time, it is your boy Brandon, aka the Kevin Hart photography, because that's me, because you know I'm a dog. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna take my coffee. It's early. I don't know how long it's gonna take for this video to come out, because I still got an M1 Pro, but that problem is now solved.